Hello, my name is Tiffany C. Wright, and I am the Resourceful CEO. Here I am. Today, I'm here to talk to you about the penalties that your company will incur for not filing 1099s or for late filing 1099s. This is part of our 1099 video series. Most businesses understand that they need to issue Form 1099s to their independent contractors and file 1099s with the Internal Revenue Service by the deadlines. However, few are aware of how harsh the penalties can be for deliberately not complying with filing regulations. Fortunately, the IRS does make significant allowances for simple mistakes. I'm sure this is a relief for those companies that have unintentionally omitted a 1099 from their filings. Of course, the best way to avoid penalties is to file the correct Form 1099s by the applicable dates. Here is a sample Form 1099 miscellaneous. This is the primary form that applies to your business because this is the form that you must send to all independent contractors to whom your business paid $600 or more in the prior calendar year. For more details, see our first video, What Entities Get 1099s. To ensure compliance, your company must mail out all 1099s, including the 1099 miscellaneous, by January 31st following the end of the calendar tax year. So for the 2013 calendar tax year, you must you must mail these out by January 31st, 2014. For 2014 tax year, you will have until January 31st of 2015. The loan exception is Form 1099-C, which, if this applies to you, your firm must mail by February 15th. Your company must then file 1099s with the IRS by February 28th if you're filing by paper. If you're filing electronically, which I highly recommend, it's so much easier, then you must e-file the 1099 with the IRS by March 31st. The IRS levies penalties for a number of infractions related to the 1099. As I already stated, a penalty applies if your company fails to file on a timely basis. A penalty applies if your company fails to include all the required information or includes incorrect information on the 1099. If you neglect to report a tax identification number, that is either the employer identification number for companies or the Social Security number for individuals and sole proprietorships, you may be subject to penalties. If you file a 1099 for an incorrect tax ID number, you may be subject to penalties, as you would if you submit paper forms that are not machine readable. Another reason to e-file. The IRS bases the amount of any penalty it assesses on your company from the time your company finally files the correct 1099. So if your company files within 30 days of the due date, then a penalty is $30 per incorrect 1099. The maximum penalty for small businesses for this violation is $75,000 per year, which would equate to about 2,500 or more incorrect 1099. So you'd have to have a lot of independent contractors to come up against that limit. But again, so it's $30 per incorrect 1099. So not that harsh, assuming you only have a few that are incorrect or late filed. If your company files after 30 days, but no later than August 1st, then the penalty is $60 and the maximum penalty is $200,000 per year for small businesses. If your company files after August 1st or does not file at all, then the penalty is $100 per 1099 and your company has a maximum penalty of $500,000. With regards to maximum penalties, the IRS considers your company a small business if it generated $5 million or less in average annual revenues for the preceding 3 tax years. So an average of $5 million per year for the prior 3 tax years. In general, a minor omission or error is something that does not stop the IRS from processing a 1099. Therefore, the IRS does not consider these as a failure to include correct information. So again, minor errors and omissions are not considered a violation. You will not be penalized for those. If your company operated responsibly and tried to avoid any failures, then your company can claim and acted in good faith and avoid any penalties. If your company did more than incur a minor error or omission and did actually have problems, and you cannot demonstrate reasonable cause, you don't worry, you still have options. The IRS may exempt the greater of 10 1099s or 0.5% of the total 1099s you must file for the calendar year. So, for example, if you only omitted or forgot to file 1099s for 8 independent contractors, you're covered. In order to receive this penalty exemption, you must have filed the 1099s but failed to include all the required information or included incorrect information. In addition, you must file corrections by August 1st. So again, this particular exception only applies if you filed but filed erroneous information. It does not apply to late filings. The IRS will not assess a penalty for failure to file if you can demonstrate that your error or omission was due to a reasonable cause and not intentional neglect. In general, simple forgetfulness is not a good reason. You must show that your omission was due to unforeseen events or mitigating factors. You must provide an explanation or supporting documentation that you behaved responsibly and attempted to avoid the missed filing. For example, as soon as you realize you forgot to send a 1099, send it. If you missed the paper filing deadline, then file electronically, and then you can avoid all penalties. Generally, if a company operates responsibility, you can claim that you acted in good faith and avoid penalties. So if you mistakenly thought a company that you paid during the 2013 was a corporation and therefore should not receive a 1099, then document this reason. Or if you thought you paid a contractor $500, but due to poor internal record keeping, you realized later that you actually paid them $600 or $700, then document this reason. For more information and additional videos on the subject of 1099s, visit Cash for Impact at www.cashforimpact.com/1099-guide. Thank you very much, and we hope this was very helpful to you.